If you're a Spider-Man fan, you've definitely got a ride or die version of the character, and you've likely spent way too much time arguing with strangers on the internet about why your pick is superior. Well, today, I'm stepping into the ring to tell you why Tobey Maguire isn't just a nostalgic relic, he's the absolute greatest of all time. Like many 2000s babies, my childhood was basically a walking advertisement for the Raimi trilogy. I had the bedsheets, the pillows, the action figures, and even a lamp shaped like Spider-Man's head that probably stared into my soul while I slept. Don't get me wrong, the 90s animated series is the undisputed greatest of all time in the cartoon world, but the Sam Raimi movies were my reality. Now, after growing up, paying taxes, and watching 2 more live-action reboots, I've noticed something. When I watch the new guys, I have this persistent bug up my ass. I couldn't take them serious because in my head, Tobey had already completed the character. For a while, I had to check myself. Was I just blinded by nostalgia? Did I just hate change? At the time, the answer was a resounding yes, but after going through the 5 stages of grief over the trilogy ending, I sat down and watched every single live-action movie in order. What I found was groundbreaking. I actually loved all of them. It turns out you don't have to be a hater just to have a favorite, but even with an open mind, Tobey is still the heavyweight champion. Tobey's Spidey is easily the strongest of the 3. In the first movie, we see his spider sense for the first time. It doesn't just tingle, it allows him to perceive the whole world around him in slow motion. And let's not forget, as long as he isn't having a midlife crisis that shuts down his DNA, he's the only one with organic webbing. No tech, no out of reload moments, just pure built-in fluid. And his durability is terrifying. He eats a pumpkin bomb to the face and basically just looks annoyed. For context, the same bomb vaporized 3 grown men into skeletons earlier in the movie. Then he casually catches a cable car full of children with one hand and holds MJ in the other, staying steady while dangling over a river. During the final Goblin fight, he's ripping down brick walls and beating Norman into a negotiation after about 3 punches to a metal helmet. He even dodges the glider with a backflip when it was practically touching his suit. And of course, we can't forget his most legendary feat of survival, getting clipped by an NYC bike messenger and surviving. That's top tier resilience. In Spider-Man 2, the man becomes a human brake pad. He didn't just stop the train, he used his legs to cheese grater the metal tracks for a solid few seconds, before his muscles finally took over. He also kicked a clock hand with enough force to floor Doc Ock, and held up a massive chunk of collapsing laboratory wall like it was cardboard. He was even able to pull out those fusion power wires. Seriously, what were those made of? Vibranium? By Spider-Man 3, he's just showboating. He beats the new Goblin while focusing 90% of his brain power on catching a wedding ring. Keep in mind, Harry was on a perfected serum, making him faster and stronger than his dad. And Tobey still handled him while playing fetch with jewelry. And sorry to the Andrew fans for this, but Tobey absolutely mogged everyone when he saved Gwen with 10 times the style, navigating falling debris and heavy machinery like he was in a choreographed dance. But the Sandman fights are where the real power scaling goes off the charts. Tobey is punching through stone, ripping apart metal water pipes, and getting smashed into cars like a crash test dummy. But the finale was the real kicker. He's pinned to a steel I-beam by Venom, while a skyscraper-sized Sandman uses his head as a punching bag. We're talking about a fist the size of a sedan coming down with the momentum of a wrecking ball multiple times. Not only does he survive, but he has enough left in the tank to vaporize the symbiote with a pumpkin bomb. Harry took one of those to the face and it permanently scarred half of his body. Tobey took one and just needed a nap. He's simply built different. If you need more proof, No Way Home basically confirmed the power hierarchy. Tom Spidey, even with a $1 billion Iron Spider suit, struggled against Doc Ock and got manhandled by the Goblin. We saw Tom punch Gobby in the face, no helmet, multiple times, and it basically just tickled him. And then when Tobey made his appearance, when him and Andrew have that brief internal shootout when their senses go off, Tobey is the one who comes out on top. But the real mic drop moment is the finale, because a bloodlusted, grieving Tom tries to impale the Goblin with the glider, putting his full weight and strength into a killing blow. Tobey stops it effortlessly. He holds it in place with a calm expression, literally standing between a younger, stronger, on-paper hero and his revenge, proving that old man strength is very real in the Spider-Verse. What makes the Raimi trilogy stand the test of time is that Peter Parker actually suffers. He is most like the comic counterpart because his life is a series of constant sacrifices. He lives a humble, borderline broke life and never catches a break, which makes him incredibly relatable. As a kid, the boring scenes of Peter struggling to pay rent or losing his job as a pizza delivery guy were just filler, but as an adult, they are the best parts because we all have days where we don't want the responsibility, but we have to show up for our families anyway. Seeing Peter give up on his own happiness to serve others touches a part of our humanity that the high-tech billionaire intern versions sometimes miss. This version actually felt like he was sacrificing to put on the mask of Spider-Man, but he knew it was his duty. One of the most compelling aspects of the Raimi trilogy is the unique dynamic between Peter and his enemies. These aren't just random bank robbers, they're almost all father figures or mentors who genuinely admire Peter's intellect. Before the serum or the tentacles take over, men like Norman Osborn and Otto Octavius look at Peter and see a brilliant but lazy version of themselves, a young man with the potential to change the world. Even when they descend into villainy, that respect remains a core part of their interaction. Norman tries to recruit him because he thinks Peter is the only one enlightened enough to stand beside him, and Doc Ock's whole entire arc is bookended by his appreciation for Peter's scientific mind. Even Eddie Brock, in his own twisted, insecure way, is obsessed with Peter's talent, literally trying to copy his whole flow and steal his life because he recognizes Peter as the gold standard. I mean, he literally goes to church to pray to God for him to kill Peter Parker. This creates a tragic weight to every fight. Peter isn't just punching a bad guy, he's fighting people who actually believed in him, which makes his choice to stay a hero despite their influence even more powerful. Raimi's background in horror, shout out to Evil Dead, gave these movies a unique edge. The surgery scene in Spider-Man 2 or the sinister mirror moments with the Goblin feel genuinely creepy. The world building was also top tier. The Daily Bugle felt like a real place, and J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson was so perfect they literally couldn't find anyone else to play him in the new movies. Even Spider-Man 3, which gets a lot of hate, has an incredible atmosphere. The sheer aura of the black suit is still unmatched. I remember sitting in the shower as a kid reenacting the church scene in the rain, and even imagining the water being the Venom symbiote trying to get it off, which I'm sure others probably felt the same way because there was a whole wave of Spider-Man 3 memes that came out years after the release. For example, the Black Air Force meme. Needless to say, it's permanently impacted pop culture, and you can tell who loves this movie based on how they act when they wear black. But one of the main problems people had with Spider-Man 3 was that Venom might have been smaller than people wanted, but he was still terrifying. That final fight at the construction site, the symbiote growls mixed with the job site ambiance was peak cinema, and you can't tell me otherwise. At a time before the MCU existed, this trilogy set the standard. They didn't just make a superhero movie, they made a human story about a guy who happens to be a tank in spandex. Everyone involved had a deep understanding of the character's heart. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man didn't just lead the way for the future heroes, he paved the road, built the bridge, and then probably held it up with one hand while catching a bus with the other. He is and always will be the GOAT. I hope you guys enjoyed breaking down this character as much as I did. We're actually about to hit 70 subscribers, so a massive thank you to everyone showing love early on. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and join the community. Also, let me know in the comments who we should tackle next, whether it's a superhero, a TV icon, or even a real person. Don't forget to leave a like on your way out, and I'll see you in the next one.